back live.
Here we go.
Nation. Look at all that's changed.
It's
The new year, the
world
court is different.
The world changes fast,
The
doesn't it?
court has a new name and everything. All right, I want to Jim Gazzolo, Heath Schroyer, Polk Nation, this is it. I want to get to it right away.
Let's do it.
Joe Dumars Day.
Unbelievable, huh?
Unbelievable day. A recruiting coup for you, I call it.
It was a big one.
But what did it mean to have him back here, and what did it mean to get the name of the court, Joe Dumars Court?
Oh, wow. I don't think you can really put into words what it meant to get him back. Joe is a great person. We have developed an unbelievable relationship over the last few years, and he is, he's just so accomplished. Not only as a great player, but, he was a general manager of the year, won 2 championships as a player, 1 championship as a general manager, right. Has been hugely successful in private businesses. And now he's the executive vice president of the NBA. He is such an accomplished guy, but he is so humble. And to get him back and more importantly, get him engaged again is something that was a goal of mine for a while. And it was great to see what all that work and more importantly, that relationship, allowed him to come back and us name the court after him, and it was just a great time.
I thought a lot of what he said was interesting in the week leading up to it, especially about how he didn't want the relationship forced, which kind of made you think maybe it'd been forced in the past, about he was willing to be a resource to the school and the program. Getting his name on the court is one thing, but getting him behind the program actively when you need him, that's a bigger thing.
It's huge. Yeah, listen, he's the most accomplished, athlete, and you can make an argument the most accomplished alum in the history of the school.
Yeah.
So, for him to be, how do I say, just disengaged for 30 years.
Well, on the fringe.
On the fringe. Shame on us, truth be told, and as an institution. Let alone an athletic department. And so there was a lot of things that needed to get mended. There was a lot of things that needed to be talked about. But that's in the past, and right now we're moving forward, and it's just great to have Joe be a part of our future.
Well, not to give you a bigger head than you already have, as I like to say, but this is one of the things you've done very well is you've brought back the history. Mm-hmm. You've engaged people that were unengaged.
Yeah.
In this case, I think my knowledge of the situation was maybe he was taken for granted a little bit, or there was a feeling of he owed us from this university instead of saying, let's embrace him. Now, with this in line, you got John Rudd coming up this week, a former Knick whose jersey will be retired.
Absolutely.
So you are, there is some basketball history here that people don't know about that all of a sudden you're starting to see.
For sure, there is. And look, John Rudd's jersey being honored, come on, it's kind of a joke. I've
never heard that before, but okay.
For sure. So, I went to John and I said, what is this all about? And we, same thing. Unfortunately, it was a lot of mistakes that were made. However, I want to make it right. We're going to retire his jersey. He had an unbelievable career here at McNeese, probably the best big man that's ever played. At McNeese and went on and had a professional career, played for the Knicks. Again, is very, very successful after his playing days are over in private business, been a huge supporter years ago in the past, but now we're getting him back in the fold again too. That's what it's about. Look, if you want to have a real athletic department and you want to move the needle and move things forward, it takes everybody. And you have to embrace your past. You can't stay in the past, but you have to embrace it, and you have to use the resources of the past to help you propel into the future. And that's what, guys like John Rudd and Joe Dumars and, tons of other ones that I've talked to in the last couple of years that are helping us move this thing forward.
Well, if you don't, it's hard to embrace all alumni if you don't bring in the big names, because the big names are the people that people know and they follow.
Sure. Well, and I think too, these two guys had such great careers on the court, but I think both of them, and obviously Joe is in a different stratosphere than most people, But, John is, he's had a very, very successful business and private life. I mean, he's done very, very well. He has made a huge impact on this community. He came back here, raised a family here. He's just a phenomenal human being and a great man. And it's a real honor for me to officially retire his jersey this week.
Really quick, because huge game Saturday, 82-80 loss in overtime. Are you okay? I watch you during a game, and I see you pacing down below. I see you up on top. I see you all over the place. You can get a little nervous still?
For sure. I mean, I want to win. Look, I mean, Jim, I've said this publicly, and I say it publicly. When I came here as a coach, Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston, Abilene Christian, those teams were in the league, and those teams won games in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
They're all gone. This is the best basketball job in our league right now. We need to win. And, there's no one that wants to win more than me. There's no one that's, you say, it's nervous, that's pulling for, Coach Aiken and his staff than me. But we need to win. We need to win basketball games.
When we come back on Poke Nation, we'll be joined by shooting guard Harwin Francois, who's off to a tremendous league start. Right after this on Poke Nation.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. Wow, Harwin Francois.
How you doing?
Good, man. Welcome to Poke Nation.
Thank you.
So it's great to have you here. Obviously, last week we had a huge night with Joe Dumars, having a court named after him. We had a huge win against Northwestern State. You had a little bit to do with that. No, but you played really, really well, especially since league play has started. Talk about what has changed with you, and what do you think is happening in your game and in your life to start playing as well as you're playing?
So basically, when we started non-conference, we played a lot of difficult teams. We had a brutal non-conference schedule. But coming into league play, I think we figured out Coach is playing 4 or 5 guards starting. So now it really just opens up the floor. Whoever gets the rebound just gets to go and just flow on offense, and it just really spaces us out more. So I think that's has a lot to do with my success as of lately.
That's great. That's great. So what do you think of, obviously it opens the floor up, so now guys can able to penetrate. It seems like you guys are playing with a freer mind offensively, right? Where your instincts are taking over. Do you feel that when you're out there?
Yeah, most definitely. 4 guards, we all know how to pass, dribble, and shoot, So really we can just drive in, get easy kickouts, drive another closeout, pass up a good shot for an even better shot. So
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
My question to you is this. What was it like to be recruited by Heath Schroyer?
I remember that. It was quite a long time ago, about 3 years ago.
It was.
Yeah.
You and Zach, I think, are the last 2 that we actually signed when I was coaching here.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think we built a good relationship. Me and him and his staff at the time. So it was pretty cool, and the fact that he's still here is, I think we use that to our advantage.
The difference now with you shoot threes almost at will, this team. You yourself, I made some notes here. You've 17 for 28 since conference began. 16 of those have been threes. 27 of your 28 shots have been threes.
Oh, wow.
Is it just the flow of the offense? Is just these shots are now available now because of the openness?
Yeah, the fact that we have the 4 guards, I think I'm getting those shots a lot more. But Coach always tells us to do what you do best the most. So, I mean, obviously for me, that's shooting the 3 ball. So whenever I have these looks, I'm going to take them.
How much fun is it to play in an offense where all you do is shoot the threes?
I think I got the easy job. Just shoot the threes and play defense, really lead our guys. But yeah, it's actually a lot of fun.
He talked a lot about your defense and the fact that in this zone, it's kind of a middle-out defense, and that it's important that you play through communications. How important has the defense been that people haven't noticed?
Yeah, we play a zone, so I'm basically technically the 5-man in the zone because I'm right in the middle and the low part. But for me, it's important for me to talk because we have to know what alignment we're on. If they're in a 4-out, 2-1-2, or 1-3-1, I have to be the vocal catalyst for us and just talking things out. So it's an important job for me.
Remember, if you want to blame somebody for that tough non-conference, there's the guy that makes it.
And I think it made us better.
So let's talk about the zone a little bit, Harwin. So how hard is it, or how hard was it for you guys to adjust to that? Because Coach Aiken, the year before was preaching man-to-man.
Yeah.
You guys have went to a matchup zone. How long did it take, and are you starting to feel comfortable in it now?
It took a long time, especially when we were playing all these high majors and non-conference, and we're trying to figure it out. But I think the more games that we've played, the more comfortable and better we're looking in it. So now I think we're finally in a rhythm, in a groove. We're all five talking out, pointing. We're looking at film, and going back to film every day, just seeing what we can do, bits and pieces, what we can do better, and taking the good. I think it's finally starting to come together for us.
Right.
Yeah.
The 5 starters, we talked about this off camera. The 5 starters have been together now a couple of years. In the world of transfer portal, how important is it for you guys to be together and to kind of play together and understand each other?
So the transfer portal can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing also. But the fact that all 5 stars were here last year and we've played together, I think it's we know how to talk to each other. We know what gets each other going. So the fact that we have that experience, I think you guys are finally starting to see it. It's making us a better team.
Does it make it more fun to play with guys you played with before?
Yeah, for sure, because you know what the guys are going to do. When in transfer portal, you got to figure out what a guy does, figure out his space, the better spots for him. So it's better for us.
And
Well, talk about this. So obviously, we had a great win on Thursday. We dropped a tough one in overtime at home on Saturday. Now we go back on the road and we play Northwestern State again. What are your thoughts, and what are you guys talking about, playing a team that you just beat so quickly again in league play?
It's a quick turnaround. That's how league play is. We know we did a lot of good things. That we came out really hot, and it was a special night. We had Joe Dumars here, of course.
Yep.
But we're gonna go back and down today and watch the film, see things that we did good, see things that we did bad, learn from it, and have put together 3 good practices before then,
right.
and then go in there. We know Northwestern State's a better team at home.
Sure.
But we're ready for that.
Good.
when we come back with Harwin, we're going to talk about the Joe Dumars night and the future of McNeese basketball this season after this on Poke Nation. We're back with Harwin Francois, senior guard and sharpshooter from McNeese State, who's on quite a tear, averaging 16.7 points a game as Conference League is playing. And Harwin, Joe Dumars was here. He played before you were even born.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, what you see is what you've heard about him. But what was it like to meet him and to see somebody that's made it in the NBA from McNeese come back to McNeese?
I think it was a blessing for me and all of us, honestly. He talked to us before the game, gave us a few wise words, and told us basically it don't matter where you're at. You can come to McNeese. You can be wherever you want to be in the world. And of course, for him to have the success that he's had, I think it just gave us more of a good spirit about here and about where we can be in our futures.
And for that, not only was it at night, but also the crowd. What does that mean to have that kind of a crowd, and what is it like? Because you were here when the crowd was here.
Yeah.
Back a couple of years ago. What would it mean to get that crowd back consistently?
I think it would be a good thing for us because the way we had a lot of people here, the crowd was involved. It made us more engaged and locked in, and then we obviously didn't want to disappoint the crowd. So I think it made us come out and play it harder, and we wanted to win for us, but as well for the whole McNeese community.
Beat playing at the rec center?
Oh yeah, by far.
So Harwin, tell Poke Nation about you're on track to graduate.
Yep.
In May. Talk about your degree, and then talk about how you got here, and talk about your family and all that. Give Poke Nation a little bit of a background about where you're from, who you are, and obviously what you're getting your degree in, and all those things.
Okay, so I'm from Florida, Fort Myers, Florida. My parents are They came here from, both of them are from Haiti, so I'm Haitian, speak 3 languages. I'm graduating here in spring for communication as well as psychology. What else you said about my future?
Yeah, so you started out, because no one recruited you out of high school,
Yeah.
right? You went to junior college in Florida, and then you turned me down the first time, right?
Yeah.
Then you went to Southern Illinois, okay? And then when you went into portal, you don't remember this, but I remember getting on the phone with you and saying, "You will not turn me down a second time."
Yeah.
Remember that?
No, I remember that. It was during COVID too. So.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So talk about your time in Daytona and how you got here.
Okay, so basically out of high school, I was really under recruited. So I chose a JUCO in Daytona State. I think it was a good experience for me to see how high level basketball. We had a couple high majors on our team,
Yep.
so really learned the ropes from them. I turned you down the first time. I thought Southern Illinois was a better opportunity for me. I learned some good things over there. Obviously, I was young at the time. I didn't feel like I was playing as much, so. And then COVID came, so I hit the portal, and then I remember that's when you talked to me. You told me I wasn't turning you down again. I was like, okay, I'm rocking with you. So decided to come with you, and I think it's been a blessing ever since. I know we went through some hard times with the hurricane and all,
Yep.
Our gym being destroyed, but I'm glad that we're here now, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's great.
Was it tough because you played in this gym and then it got destroyed and you had to
Yeah.
go back and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Was that a tough time?
Yeah, I played in this gym for like 2 weeks. We did a couple practices for 2 weeks, and then hurricane came. We came back, and it was just destroyed, just leaking everywhere. It's just gone. It was a hard time for us mentally. We had to go back to the Burton, and that's a tough place to play in. So
Yeah. Now, yes, I do know
Tough place
that.
to coach in.
yeah,
Now we look forward to the rest of this year. You have the conference tournament here. You're 2-1 in the conference, off to a good start. Are you going to surprise some people? Do you think?
I think we're gonna surprise some people, but to us, I don't think it's no surprise. The work we've been through the mud, we've been through everything. So to us, it's not a surprise, but I think we're gonna surprise a lot of people with a lot of wins coming. And the goal is to a conference championship and to play in March Madness.
So, okay, and I always say this too, so that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
That's why you suit up, that's why you coach, all of
Sure.
that. What has to happen for this team to be in a position to compete for a championship and win a conference tournament? Like, what needs to happen?
Basically, what needs to happen is what we've been doing, just every day, keep improving. I've seen it in practice every day. We come in, we're just more locked in. We want to learn. Guys are getting unrequired work, and then we got to continue coming together and gelling together. Keep learning each other's games. Keep on being unselfish. Let the ball move around, and on defense, our defense has to be our main focus. Because we can score the ball, but we have to stop teams from scoring. So,
Sure.
Yep.
And again, how much fun is it to play when you get to shoot?
I tell people all the time, I got the easy job, just 3 and D, just shoot the threes and play defense and be loud, basically. So it's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Harwin Francois, for joining us on Poke Nation. Good luck the rest of the year. Obviously, a fantastic start for you guys, especially shooting the basketball. Northwestern State, and then who do you got on Saturday back here?
I think
Nichols?
Houston Christian.
Houston Christian. Yep.
Houston Christian back here on Saturday. Chance to maybe fill this arena.
Yep.
We'll be back with Coach's final thoughts after this on Poke Nation.
Appreciate it.
We're back on Poke Nation. Harwin Francois, thanks for joining us. Obviously, it was a tremendous shooting start for the year. 17 of 28 in the league, 16 of 27 in threes.
Yeah.
So, I want to get to you some thoughts on some other subjects.
Okay.
The NCAA basketball tournament, there's been talk about expanding it to 90. Are you for it? 90's a lot of teams.
It's a lot of teams,
A
but
lot of mid-majors would get in then.
but I am for it. I think that, when you look at college football, and I said this years ago as a coach, college football has it figured out. The bowls, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you go 6-6, 7-6, you're in a bowl. In men's basketball, you were taking 25% or so of the teams to go to the NCAA tournament. I think expanding it, I think is the right thing. I think
Does
there's
it
a
do
lot of.
away with the lower tournaments that a lot of people don't know
I think
about
so.
anyway.
I think so. I think you'll still probably have an NIT, if you will, but
A couple of the other ones.
I think the other ones probably go away.
we don't know about them anyway, really. to be
Well, I mean, but those are great opportunities too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played in them as a head coach and had great success in them. But I think getting to the NCAA tournament, I think the TV revenue, I think it puts more pressure on team and leagues like ours that we need to become better. How can we, at some point, become a two-bid league? Is that possible? I don't know, but I think those conversations need to happen. But I think it's good for the sport. I think that it's not too. I would not go more than that. You have 360 Division I schools, so you're still about a third of the way, and a third of the teams making the tournament, which is probably about right.
All right, I want to ask you this because FCS championship was played yesterday, which we're taping on Monday.
Right.
3 weeks after the semifinals.
Right.
I think it hurts the cause to be 3 weeks away, night before the national championship, and played on the same Sunday as the final NFL.
Agreed.
Because you lose any momentum and you lose that opportunity to be in the spotlight.
I agree 100%. I think waiting 3 weeks is a mistake. I think that if you waited 2 weeks, I think that's probably about right. And do that on a Sunday after the quote Final Four, of FBS. I think if you played that Sunday is probably a better Sunday to play. But I'm with you 100%, and I think that that's something that really needs to be addressed.
Because that is FCS's big opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it gets kind of lost in the shuffle. We've lost about the teams.
No question.
But it really gets lost in the final NFL Sunday.
It's the same. I mean, it's completely different, but it's the same mentality that we had of moving our tournament not only here, but our championship game being on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Where we get more television eyes versus being Saturday night on ESPN whatever, and we're the fifth game that someone's watched that night. It makes sense, and I think that that's something that I'm going to bring up in the AD meetings and with Chris, our commissioner.
Well, I'm bringing it up to him anyway, too. I mean, he won't listen to me.
You got more juice. Go ahead.
He
You
won't
do it.
listen to me. But, okay, before we get into it, last year I had fun with you on all this stuff, but Gatsby's coming up.
It's so great, isn't it? I'm telling you. Listen.
Well, let's not get to the commercial first, but what exactly is it first? Let's get into what it is first.
So the Gatsby is a Gatsby Gala. It's a black tie event. It is the biggest fundraiser for our athletic department. McNeese Athletic
Huge
Foundation.
success last year?
Huge success. It sold out last year. We had 100 tables. It'll sell out again this year. But the key is I sat down with our Gatsby staff after last year, said, how do we make it bigger and better? And they looked at me like I'm crazy, but that's the goal. But it is going to be bigger and better. We have some really, really cool things that's going to happen. And truly, it is the event of the year. And there were multiple media outlets that came to the event last year. KPLC was there. And they all told me this was the party of the year. And if you thought that was a party, wait till this year.
But what are you going to do differently?
I can't give all my surprises, but
Human sacrifice? I mean, what's going on in these things?
I got performers coming from the ceiling. I'm going to have performers in the middle of the crowd and risers. It is going to off the charts.
And you get dressed up?
100%.
What are you going to be Gatsby this time?
No, I'm not going to be Gatsby. But it's really cool. It's at LeBurge Casino. It's March 25th. You can go on.
Here comes the commercial.
No, MAFGatsbyGala.com. MAFGatsbyGala.com. You can buy your tables there, but they are going fast, and I would tell all Polk Nation, do not miss this opportunity. It is a heck of a time, and I'll see you at Gatsby, I promise you. And you need to come this year, too.
We'll see you next week when we'll hear more about Gatsby after that. See you next week.